We've been ahead the whole game. I got fed early, so this game should be a free win. But since we're ahead, my team gets cocky and starts trolling. They get caught, and now we maybe lose Nash. But I'm really fed, so there's still a chance that we can win this fight. This game was a free win a minute ago, but whatever. They had to burn some ults to take down Town though. And Kate's also strong, and Nunu can peel for her. I know I have TP, but if I TP to the Nash pit, I get one shot and die. Next to the mid lane wall, I'm too far away and I can't deal damage. I choose to TP to the blue off wall, so I'm in a good position for flank. As I TP in behind them, Kate and Nunu stall by catching enemy team in the middle of Baron. Nunu tanks as much as he can, and Kate deals a lot of damage. Since I'm on the flank, enemy team doesn't know who to focus. And since the three of us play the fight correctly, we kill them all and save the game. That's just solo queue.
Welcome back to the OVL. If you're just joining us, Avant Garde are up 1-0 over Tainted Minds in this, our first game of OPL Sunday. My name is Michael Hingising, and I'm joined here at the analyst desk by Nathan Mendrix Mendez and Arn Minky Whale Trin. Having a fun dance there. Now, guys, I want to start by asking you about, as we go into game two, two things I want to talk about. Number one, Only is playing jungle for Tainted Minds for the first time this year. And he had a pretty good game in that, up 50 CS at one point, Minky Whale.
Oh, so Only is a solo queue jungler, and a very good one, actually. He had lots of pressure in his jungle. I mean, he had vision from the opposition, just everywhere in there, and he still managed to get a 50 CS lead. So I think he did quite well. He just couldn't capitalize that lead in terms of, like, you know, kills and, you know, objectives, I guess, compared to Chelby, who took every dragon and the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
And it's something that you sort of expect with Graves as well. I mean, the big thing you need to look at, Graves is a fantastic solo queue jungler, and he's able to really just go through, tear out that jungle. So even with some pressure on him, he can deal with it, but it's just a matter of, you know, him sort of translating that as pressure for the rest of his team.
We also saw this early lead from Tainted Minds in the bot lane especially, and you got to think for Blinky, does he need to really work on his laning phase going into game two for Avant Garde?
That's something they do need to clean up. They really should have been able to go into that and actually take a win. Kog'Maw should not be up that early. It might be something where you look at the draft phase, because again, they did Malzahar into Lulu, something you really just shouldn't do.
Minky, you've obviously played top and what did you play? Support, but you played a bit of AD, didn't you?
Play a bit of everything.
Played a bit of everything.
Yeah.
What's your advice for Blinky in terms of cleaning up his laning phase?
Well, I think it was a one-off thing. I mean, the kills that they traded were obviously very close. They underestimated Kog'Maw. It's a pick that you don't really go up against a lot. So, I mean, if they're uncomfortable, just ban it. Go with a traditional matchup. You know, Jhin, Varus, something like that, and they should be fine after that.
All right, well, after seeing that first game, does anyone want to change their predictions from 2-0 AV? Anyone thoughts?
No, in my opinion, I'd still keep it 2-0 to AV. Their macro play was excellent at that game. And to be honest, I mean, looking at it in terms of what Tainted Minds did, they really need to just sort of commit to a team composition. If they don't do that, they're going to be in trouble. Because they really had to protect the Kog'Maw comp there, but just didn't have a final champion to really protect it, like a Karma or an Orianna on top of the Lulu.
I mean, Minky, you said going into game one, you were like, look, if Tainted Minds are going to take a win, it's going to be in the laning phase. And it did look like they had a strong laning phase at the start of that match. I mean, do you feel like they can stretch that? Or do you think really they've got to win this game by 22 minutes? Because if they don't, like, they're just going to get pushed out mid-game.
Really, anything can happen, but it's TM's inexperience is just showing through, quite obviously. So I don't expect them to get a win, but if they do, they'll have to, they'll have to pull something special out.
Well, in terms of then, if you don't expect them to get a win, what would you consider a win for Tainted Minds then? Because let's set this bar at a place they can get to, because they're trying to grow, they're trying to learn and try to gel as a team. So what are they looking to do then?
Well, I mean, they're already winning lane phase, so winning lane phase again is obviously a big thing, and then kind of carrying that lead out towards, you know, mid and maybe even late, that would be a win for them.
Maybe team fighting with the Kog'Maw more?
Well, their comp didn't allow them to team fight really, so, you know.
Gotta try.
You gotta use what you have, right?
Play the cards you dealt.
Yeah, and I think that we really need to look at as well is that these guys need to say if they aren't winning laning phase, if they are behind, just try to stay within 1 to 2k in terms of that deficit. If they manage to do that, sort of, take a note out of Carbon's book, they should be able to remain competitive with the team and actually get to a point where they can team fight against them.
Mate, who needs to stay win 1 or 2k? They were winning. They were out in front. Who needs to stay within when you're in front?
Well, the thing is that it's about them making sure they remain in front, which they didn't do towards that mid game. So again, they might have had that little buffer, which is great, but then afterwards, when you get to that mid game, you really do need to take it to the next point, which is saying, all right, you know what? Let's stay within that 2k buffer. If not, we need to get at least a 10k lead, so that way we're not dropping too far when the mid game comes.
When you look at that stat there, Ward's place 95 for AV. What do you think of their vision control in that game? Because you said already that that only had a lot of pressure on him in the jungle because AV had good vision.
Well, yeah, it was pretty obvious looking at the map that there was a huge discrepancy between AV and TM's vision. And that mostly just comes from experience as a team and good coaching, really. They just know where to place the wards, when to place the wards, how to place the wards.
Saying Tainted Mind's coach, who doesn't exist, is not doing some good coaching.
That's probably exactly what I'm saying. They need one. Yeah.
Sure.
Badly.
All right. Well, that may be an improvement they can make for next week. But right now, we need to see if Tainted Minds can get back in this and type the series 1-1. So let's throw it to our casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thank you very much, Hingers. I'm Matthew Fish Stewart. Joining me is Jake Spontabiri from somewhere. Think you heard it from Hingers or something?
No, I wasn't. I felt like doing something different today. Fish, come on. It's a fun game. It's our best game of League of Legends probably all year. So got to get a little bit excited about it.
I thought you were just trying to scare the producers. Didn't know you were going to follow through there. But yeah, Jake Spontabiri is now going to be joining us for this cast. And we're about to go into game 2 of Avant Garde taking on Tainted Minds. And, we had the desk talking about how, you should just try and stay 2,000 to 3,000 gold behind, or, you should just stay in front as deficit. You're all wrong. If you listen to my friend Tegan, you just need to stay ahead in kills. That's all you got to do.
Exactly right. Stay ahead in kills. I feel like what Tainted Minds actually need to do is play towards a condition of winning. That is, if you want to go 1-3-1, get some wave clear on your AD carry, make sure that you have that ability to be able to just clean out the mid lane from range and allow Wizard as well as Praedyth to go to work. If that isn't the game plan, if you want a team fight, then maybe get yourself a 1-4 or something like that and maybe look to exploit, like deep teleports or something that Praedyth can maybe do with a little bit more experience in series.
Well, bottom lanes again. This week in the OPL really stepping up. We saw it from XL5 yesterday. Crazy and Tegan really stepping up after a few weeks of lackluster performance on XL5. Now Tainted Minds, Brawler didn't have an impressive game last week. Now pairing up with Squidgy, doing very well on the bottom lane for Tainted Minds. We'll have to see if they can put out a repeat performance. If they're going to throw something unorthodox in the bottom lane again, or if this time going to something a little bit more standard.
And they did look very comfortable in the 2v2. And it was a lane that wasn't really interrupted by jungle ganks all that much. However, what you will say is Jake was more active around the rest of the map. He used his first level 6 ultimate with a flash into Wizard's lane to really catapult triple ahead. So maybe Brawler a little bit too focused on the 2v2 and getting the Cogmore through and not really helping out the rest of the map.
Well, Tainted Minds now in the ban phase to decide if you can't beat a ban. There's either going to be taken away with Nautilus and Syndra in their second match. Rengar, LeBlanc, and Camille being taken away by Avant Garde. That leaves Ryze open as well as Varus. And it's going to be the Ryze pick coming out from Tainted Minds first.
Yeah, so Ryze a little bit more priority than Varus. Don't know if I agree with it because that is what AV have snapped up straight away.
Yep.
I do, however, agree with the sentiment. If Triple is the person you are worried about, take away the best champion in that role. And then you can maybe deal with the Blinky Jake lane. Although giving away Varus, especially towards the mid-late game, is quite risky.
Especially when you give Varus over towards Blinky. In the first few weeks of the OPL, before lethality was such a big item to be picked up on any carries, Blinky was the one that was changing builds every single game. There was a best 3 series where he only played Varus and he had 3 different builds throughout the series. So excited to see how he's going to be able to pull this one off in the bottom lane and say pick up Nami as their supportive choice. And again, Tainted Minds said, let's go, boys. Picking it up, the Cottonmore Lulu.
Yeah, I feel like if they're going to go with this composition again, they need to actually get some support behind these two members. Cogmore, great. Ryze, that's enough damage, guys. Go towards like a Rek'Sai, get a Maokai in this composition. Like, get something that actually supports a team fighting comp.
No, we're going Grace Queen next, Tainted Minds. You can do it. Or Talon Java would be nice as well.
Talon Jarvan, actually, I wouldn't mind that. That's for a completely different reason, though.
Still waiting to see what the final 2 picks will be. For now, though, they are in their second ban rotations as Avant Garde pick up Graves. Shelby heading into this match.
And I'm really surprised about the Graves getting through all the way down to last pick of the first stage because, in my opinion, he's just unsurpassing clear at the moment. I mean, Rengar goes as fast as him, but not really as healthy. So I think that, you know, Graves has great burst damage, good team fighter, good 1v1 skirmish. It's really not all that much he doesn't do. Doesn't bring magic damage. I mean, the one weakness.
It's smoke screen max. Best max.
Best max? Wow, Atlas would be sad to hear that.
Don't tell him. It's all right. Kha'Zix is the first ban that comes out from Avant Garde. They don't want only to play the reverse matchup that we saw from last game. Cassiopeia, the ban from Tainted Minds, a champion that does do fairly well into Rise in the mid lane.
Yeah, certainly agree. I mean, Cassio, probably one of the few mid laners that can stand and deliver versus Rise. Also can fight within creep waves, whereas Rise has to be a little bit further out into the open. So agree with you. Get rid of that one. It's annoying to deal with.
We're also going to have the Elise ban coming out from Avant Garde. They don't want only to pick up that champion. Irelia is the final ban coming out from Tainted Minds, which doesn't make sense. Series plays the champion, but quite a few champions that's left up for him to pick up instead.
Yeah, there certainly is. I mean, he's got his Tryndamere still available, Fish, if he wants to go towards a hardcore split pusher. Of course, I think it was Swiper that said there's so many split pusher champions that do the exact same thing better. Why would you ever pick it? Kind of agree with it.
Avant Garde have locked in Victor, though, as their mid laner of choice for triple. So are still going for a little bit more standard control mage for him. So waiting to see what the final two picks from Tainted Minds are going to be. Avant Garde do like to leave their final pick for series in the top lane, give him the counter matchup of choice, and Only will be picking up Lee Sin heading into the jungle.
Yeah, excited to see this. Only's a really good solo queue jungler, as we've heard so many times. Lee Sin is one of those champions that you kind of have to play if you're a solo queue superstar. Shout out to Fesh, who doesn't necessarily do that. But Only should be able to have a good game here. And you can see that they already have a lot more protection. Praedyth actually goes with an AP Echo top, so not more protection. They've just got 1-3-1 again.
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted Maokai for the damage reduction. They're like, nah, let's take this instead.
And mark my word, this is not a tank Echo. Regardless of whether it's played mid or top, Praedyth and Wizard both build Dash Cannon into Lich Bane.
I mean, we've seen Praedyth play mid lane last week. Who knows? Wizard might just take that one as well. They both played a champion.
Yeah, they certainly do. Top lane Rise was a thing once upon a time.
Well, they will give Maokai over towards Avant Garde, which is their final pick. Does well into heavy magic damage team comps, which Tainted Minds have an abundance of in this game.
Yeah, they certainly do. And I mean, even Kog'Maw with the current build that we're seeing does a lot of magic damage, a lot of mixed damage coming out of Kog. I think that this is a, once again, real risky composition from TM. They've got 1-3-1. It's a standard 1-4 teleport comp coming out of AV. You're not ever really going to be able to kill a Maokai with an Echo when it gets to mid-late game. But it depends how much you can bully early, open up the jungle for Lee Sin to do his thing, and really take over this map.
Avant Garde have adapted, though. They're not going to be picking up the Malzahar into this game. They have Nami in the bottom lane with Varus, and should have a much easier time against this Kog'Maw Lulu. And Squidgy was ball have surprised us once. Wouldn't be too surprised to manage to pull something out again in this bottom lane.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I mean, it certainly is a very big bully lane coming out of AV again, and they have the sustain advantage this time, which is massive to think about. I mean, Nami, any trades that you don't kill her in, she's just going to be able to top you off and be able to get yourself back into that laning phase. So I'm expecting a better laning phase out of Jake and Blinky. However, the Kog'Maw, the Lulu, it already looks strong once. I mean, you have to give it the respect that it deserves in the laning phase.
Yep.
Still thinking team fights, they're in so much trouble.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Nami was the pick for supports that used to be used against these control/healing supports in the bottom lane. But as you said, it's going to be very difficult for Tainted Minds. Again, it seems like they're just running with a very unorthodox team comp, very unorthodox champions.
And, you know, on paper, I mean, 1-3-1, it kind of feels simple. Like, you guys stay mid, you just clear the waves out, everyone else push the map, will push all three lanes. But where it becomes difficult is, like, the teleport plays that you have to set up and the vision you need to sit in on 1-3-1. And I think that Tainted Minds, as we jump onto Summoner's Rift for Game 2, kind of undervaluing the nuances that you need and how long you need to practice this for it to be a solid comp.
Well, Tainted Minds with their brand new roster still looking to see if they can get an upset win against Avant Garde here. They did look promising at the start of the last match, but two picks in the mid lane opened up the map for AV. They decided to pick up the win from there. And Squidgy is calling for his team to charge, but he's the only one there, so he's not going to get anything out of that. And Jake just says, thanks for the 16 gold. Pretty happy with that. But for now, Avant Garde just looking to put down some deep wars. They did not. Or they were not able to go further into the jungle there.
So it looks like it's just going to be a pretty standard start. Lee Sin has the luxury of being able to start wherever he wants on Summoner's Rift. Really quick clear, as does Graves. Both of them don't even really need leashes. Of course, we've seen the rise in popularity of leashless Graves and just starting E on a major buff.
Yep. Chelby's going to take quite a bit of damage to kick things off. Not going to be too devastating.
So they'll actually try to get access to the Raptor camp because Graves with 3 Raptors and a Q gets a really quick level 2. And from there, I mean, you can invade Lee Sin on the red side. Graves is one of those junglers that has early mobility. If you dodge out of the way of the Q, you really are able to fight Lee Sin early. However, they see where Only is starting, so it could potentially even be a blue side invade coming out of Chelby if he wants to get really aggressive.
There is a potential, but Only does get a very strong leash on this red buff. You can see Chelby gets the Raptor camps nice and easy thanks to the saplings as Sirius is thrown down. It is patch 7.4, so saplings no longer do damage when they're tossed, which means he might have a slow start to the lane here against Praetor. Have to see if he can abuse the fact that he won't have access to his root and smash until level 3.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You can see that he has been shoved in all the way to turret. That means that no invade can be forthcoming on the top side of the map because if the top lane is being shoved in, Praetor is going to have the earlier roam. Praetor doing a great job of keeping these creeps nice and trimmed down, being able to see us up. And Series until he hits level 2 and gets that Arcane Smash, which has a higher mana cost now as well, Fish. Could be interesting to see.
So I'm also interested to see if Sirius is going to be picking up the double Doran's ring again, which is what we saw Malphite do to compensate for the mana used in the lane.
Oh,
Or if he goes for something different. But Praetor already doing a fantastic job in the top lane here. Normally it's a lane that you just forget about for the first 20 minutes of the game, but Praetor playing this one well. As Wizard going to take quite a bit of damage in the mid lane. Rise, another champion that has been changed quite a bit. Just tweaking his numbers on mana costs and damage.
yeah,
He's
I
going to
mean,
go back to base.
pretty much we took away a little bit of the damage on the empowered Q. Of course, that is when someone's been fluxed up with the E, and then the Q comes through to nail him. Affects his wave clear a little bit early, but still shouldn't have any problem against Victor. Victor, of course, got really hit hard when 1,000 to 1250 for his first core upgrade.
Yep.
Means that he always goes double ring now, pretty much. Sirius taking up a whole creep wave there as well as Praetor. That's an interesting tactic. Does not pay off for him.
It's the flip side of the Time Winder as well. Now he's just shoved off of creeps.
Because of the way execute damage works with Echo, he is well and truly within dive range, as well as the fact that Only can see where he's recalling.
Only's got a ward, I believe, ready, so he can jump if he needs. No one. The Son of Avant is close towards his top lane. Series is stuck.
Tagged him.
Going in, first blood picked up by Only. Nice, clean, and easy. Praetor is going to be able to get this lane reset as well, which is huge for the top lane.
This is a couple of times we've seen Series not really respect. Ooh, Blinky.
Taking quite a bit of damage. Squidgy, that's a very fast Cogmore flying around Summoner's Rift. He will be able to stay alive though. Blinky does have enough mana for one more arrow. But it's just trades in the bottom lane and very close ones at that.
Yeah, and this time around, Squidgy started a dagger. I mean, didn't even go with the Dorad's Blade. Generally, if Cogmore is going to go for a weird start, they go for like Cull because they auto-attack a lot. But Dagger, haven't seen that one in a while, Fish.
I don't think I've ever seen that one, Spot.
I've seen it on top lane.
What top laners build Dagger?
Just hold on, let's watch this for a second.
Jake actually taking quite a bit of damage. Double bubble will come out. Squidgy taking so much pain, and Blinky gets the last auto attack down. And Kathy Surprise just runs at Jake, but he's got enough health to survive.
Okay, so Voiboy used to take it on a couple, and Only's in here now.
Yep, Only jumps in, flashes for the first. Blinky is his next target, will flash away, but you should just save that summoner spell, buddy, because you're going nowhere. Only's right on top of you.
Yeah, and we said that Only has to get into these winning lanes and really impact them. He does the right thing as well, holds it up for the Cogmore. Takes the cannon as well for a little bit of taxation. That's what happens when the jungler helps you out.
Yep.
Nips into your lane, takes a little bit of your good stuff, but that's all right.
Give me your 2 kills, and I'll take some farm too.
Yep. So 3-0 Lee Sin is an absolute monster at this stage of the game. He's down in levels, but should be able to catch up because he has a lot of farm available. And will, when he gets to level 6, be a legitimate damage threat.
Only now getting invaded by Chelby as well as Triple. The smoke screen blocks his vision. Will take quite a bit of damage there, but does get back to the safety the top side of the jungle.
And Wizard being shoved in this early means that he can't actually help out. And that's a huge miss because Only is kind of the shining light right now. And if Chelby can continue to delay that level 6 power spike, he's not going to be able to get into the triple lane. He's not going to be able to go back top and really camp out series. So Chelby doing a great job right now.
Still taking quite a bit of damage here from Squidgy. Below half health from one trade. But just happy. It seems to continue invading, get a few auto attacks down, and look to see if he can take anything away from Only, who is accelerating his lead here in this game. 3-0-0. Keeping up in farm with Chelby on top of that.
However, every lane kind of being shoved in, even the top lane that you would have expected to be pretty far in Praetor's favor, who is going towards the Proto Belt first item. Isn't winning out all that heavily at the moment. Good CS lead, but not shoving in as hard as you would expect.
Well, Triple in this mid lane has been pushing Wizard out constantly and getting his favorable recalls. As you mentioned, he has gone for the double ring start on Victor, whereas Wizard did do what we normally see from Risers, which is shove out the wave as early as possible, get to about 15 to 16 CS, rush back for your tier.
Only stop his recall here? No, actually doesn't. So Only was on top side, was level 6, had kick available, goes back instead to complete his warrior. Gonna have his red buff taken away regardless, just because of the poor timing.
Yep.
Because Chelby swoops on that one. However, is at a point now where he can well and truly 1v1 Chelby, you feel.
Wizard starts to be very careful in this mid lane. Yet to pick up his Catalyst, which is a great item to have in the laning phase. Rise normally looks for that as his second pickup. Finalo just looking to try and wave clear against Triple, who's doing a very good job in the mid lane again, as expected. I mean, as we mentioned, Wizard was interviewed and he said that he has to go toe-to-toe against Triple. For now, it looks okay, but okay is not quite what Tainted Mind's like in this mid lane.
Exactly right. They need a winning side of the map, and right now they just don't have one. Bottom lane's being shoved in this time around. They haven't been able to get those kills like they were in game number 1 out of the Kog'Maw and the Lulu lane. A little bit more respect given over, I think, to the Squidgy and Brawler lane. However, top lane is the one area that Only can look to camp out.
Yep. And we do see Only taking down red buff from Chelby, so that's trade buffs eventually. We move into the bottom lane. Rico's bow has been picked up by Squidgy. He'll get locked down by Blinky. There goes Shelby, flashes on forward. Lulu gives it the wild growth, but it's enough to take him down. Avant Garde with a big pick in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's so hard to hit Varus ult sometimes because it's a deceptive width and length. However, is able to grab him with just the end of it, locks him down, and that's going to be the second death of the Kog'Maw. And one more time, this is not a protect the Kog'Maw comp. It's just being picked because it's a comfort pick right now for Squidgy, and this time it's not working out.
Meanwhile, on the top side map, Series trying to go toe-to-toe against Praetor, gets kicked back by Only. Flashes away from the Sonic Wave. Goes straight back in. Fancies a fight here against the two of them. Underneath the turret, Rise is trying to come
Only
up.
still tanking. They can't dive now.
Got Rise coming, though, looking for it. Series goes back in, tries to fight his way out. Praetor does have ultimate available. Gonna take the turret shot. Series gets another solo kill in the top lane. Takes down Praetor 3-on-1.
Yeah, that was a really bad dive coming out of Tainted Minds. Praetor thought he could go back in and use the ultimate to get out, but gets stunned up. Series plays it very well, and now the top side of the map isn't even really winning all that hard, and AV able to take down the Drake as well as a turret and catapult themselves ahead.
And then now 1,000 gold up, ahead of Tainted Minds with that Dragon that will be picked up shortly by Chelby. He's going to complete that one as Jake and Blinky go back to base. But again, we're in week 6 of the OPL, and Series has solo killed 4 of his opponents so far.
Yeah, it certainly has. Definitely an up-and-coming top laner. I think that was an assisted kill, but not in the conventional way. I think it was assisted by his enemy.
Interesting tactics coming out from Tainted Minds on the top side of the map. Turret dive goes wrong. They have sent their bottom lane duo to the top side of the map. Avant have done the exact same thing after taking the turret in the bottom lane.
And Only needs to get busy, because he's the one person that still is arguably ahead of his counterpart. I mean, has got a cloth armor up, so, you know, that's where the arguably part comes in. And you can see big gank squad coming into the top lane. See whether they're able to turn this one around.
Yeah, it's been popped. There's the tidal wave coming out. Only is still waiting. Squidgy stands and delivers. Teleport will come out from Series. That will get cancelled shortly after as Tainted Minds show the ace up their sleeves, which is the Lee Sin, and they go back to farming.
Yeah, so they do get summoner spells out of Blinky as well as Jake, and an ultimate and the teleport out of series. So that's definitely a win. Praetor's back up here now, takes a lot of damage.
Triple's in trouble. Only's going to kick it back, gets so much damage down on a resonating strike. Fantastic play from Only.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he continues to be the one shining light of this team. Tainted Mind's able to pick up pretty solid junglers in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've had, I believe, 3 junglers this split, and all of them look great. I think it was Shorter Ace, Fesh, and then now Only.
Yep.
All of them fantastic junglers. I mean, Sybil's a free agent now. Who knows? He could be next.
And it will be actually Tainted Minds hitting back with a turret. Fish and taking control of the gold again.
Yep. So they're now 18,400 to 18,000 against Avant Garde. Very even game between the two teams. This is what we saw early from the two of them last match. We'll have to see if Tainted Minds keep it a little bit more clean as they move in towards the mid game. Rageblade yet to be picked up by Squidgy, still sitting on the components here, and Wizard still trying to build towards his Rod of Ages.
And Rageblade is one of those items that it feels real bad to sit on components with. I mean, you don't mind sitting on recurve, pickaxe isn't all that great. Then as soon as you have to go into blasting one without upgrading, it just feels not great. So we'll see whether Squidgy is able to get a quick shop in. Not really any safe places to secure farm, as they're prioritizing Praetor's lane at the moment. They've given him the deep bottom farm. So instead, Kog'Maw's marching up top. Going to have to overextend for that. Might be an area that AV can look to exploit.
Wizards still just trying to farm up here against Triple. This time, doing fairly well in the mid lane, even in CS. Triple was taken down in a solo kill by Only. So he's doing fine. He's doing fine in the lane, but has been taken down once here. But that's what Tainted Minds need.
Shelby actually marching back top again. So they definitely know that this is where Squidgy can be exploited. They have all summoner spells available, however, for the TM bottom lane. So double flashes as well as heal and exhaust. It's hard to take down a bottom lane when they have all of that.
There they go. They lock down Squidgy to start things off. He's going to get shielded as well as the Wild Growth, but it's just too much damage from Avant Garde. Blinky picks up the kill. Meanwhile, Wizard going to be a bit of trouble. There's 3 mils of Tainted Minds in the mid lane. They pick up a kill. Praetor jumps in and gets the heck out.
Yeah, so they burn everything to take down Triple, looking for a return kill. And Squidgy, if you're willing to burn the heal, just burn the flash earlier. So that's a couple of times he's been picked up. Series now in some trouble.
He can take quite a bit of damage here. Decides he wants to take on Only. Proudlock Convergence will come down. The rest of Avant Garde do follow up, and they will protect the mid lane turret as Rice.
Doesn't take himself.
Yeah, he decides to.
Because he hit B. So if you hit B, you don't go in the ultimate of Rise. I also believe if you're in Jhin ultimate, you don't take the portal either.
Anything that channels
Yeah.
will allow you to take Rise's portal. So Wizard outplaying himself.
Or knowing the mechanic that in depth.
That he had to walk away and recall somewhere else.
Just covering the retreat, Fish. Covering the retreat. And Squidgy still hasn't been able to upgrade, so back in the lane looking for farm. Oh, difficult point of the game for the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, Blinky looking a lot more confident in this match as well. He's up in CS, has his Yomus, looking for his second lethality item next. And they've already been able to chunk out the top lane outer turret, so one more push from Avant Garde should bring that down. The turrets are still 1-1 with AV picking up the first one, but Tainted Mind's still slightly ahead in gold. A dead even game between the two teams, however.
It's just where the power is. I mean, a lot of it is on Blinky at the moment. If you're looking at the AV lineup, 3-1-0, having a good game. Then you'd have to say that a lot of it is on the Lee Sin. Potentially, now Praetor, as he's going to hit level 11, has a little bit more power as well. However, you take the AD carry being strong over Only, unless he can get some clutch assassinations in team fights. Really needs to get, in my opinion, tanky for this comp to be able to work out. Needs to be able to fly into the back line, kick someone back into the team and be able to live to tell the tale. No point doing it and dying instantly, which is what the lethality build gets you.
Well, he's got his ninja tabbies. Edge of Night will give him a bit of a shield, but that's about it for now. As Praetor decides he wants this turret, so he says no. Not going to let you have it. Scourge's going to come down as well. Laid smackdown on towards this Maokai.
Does not do all that much damage at the moment, unfortunately.
Does have his Rage Blade though, which is a big pickup for Squidgy. Tainted Minds will be able to take down their second turret for themselves, spiking the gold lead to about 1,000 in their favor. Avant Garde will match it with the top lane turret. That's given over to Blinky. They'll recall and try to defend their bottom lane inner.
They're not done yet, however. Squidgy still wants this turret, and with a little bit of ram time as well as the picks, does do a little bit more damage. See whether they can get a dragon for themselves. It would be the first of the series for TM. And you can see that playing a little bit more controlled this time around.
They certainly are. They group up, move towards the Ocean Dragon. Only comes down as well through the Blast Cone plant. Tainted Minds get an Ocean Dragon. Very decisive play from them.
So they keep Wizard up in farm, which is a big difference from game number 1. And they actually got triple here.
It's going to get locked down. Tidal Wave comes out from Jake, stopping the Kog'Maw from moving any further forward. But Triple was forced to use his Ghost there. So Summon a Spell blown, as well as the ultimate from Nami. Again, Tainted Minds keeping up the pressure. Incremental advantages for them in this game.
Yes, certainly is. And Praedyth is getting towards break points right now. Nearly has his Lich Bane picked up. You can see that the Rise probably going towards some Merc Treads, going to be able to get nice and tanky for the mid game, as Rises tend to do. Squidgy puts on a little bit of Dancing Shoes, cops one end of the laser, but not the other. Probably the minimum damage you would have expected to take. And here's a big flank.
That's a lot of damage coming out from the Varus, though. Wild Growth onto Praedyth. He's going to pop the ultimate nice and early, and the Avant stay very healthy, despite the flank coming out from Echo.
But not really all that much burnt. I mean, ultimates from the Echo as well as the Lulu. And on the other side, you can see the ultimate used from the Varus as well as the Grave. So does stop the siege for now. Wizard coming back in as well, potentially looking for a little bit of a fight.
It seems like Tainted Minds don't have that much wave clear to deal with the push that's coming out from Avant.
It's all set up wave clear except for the Time Winder. The series now potentially looking for a dive. This is a dangerous stage to be in. You don't have any tanks, only building those early kills into damage and can't fly in. You saw how much he got chunked out at just the start of that fight. So they need a creative way to be able to start one of these. Potentially look for Praedyth to try again as soon as his ultimate's back available.
Turret in the mid lane is fairly low. Everyone from Avant have grouped up here. Top lane is pushing in their favor. Tainted Minds will try and head back to base in between the minion waves. Avant decided that enough of the NARAM is enough. They head back as well, reset the map.
Yeah, they actually need to pick up some big shops because right now they're sitting on a lot of gold. So you can see that they will go back, they will come through. Only has done a really good job of keeping up in farm in this game. It's really hard to farm against Graves' Lee Sin.
Keeping up, he's 30 CS up.
Yep, so going towards the edge of the night now, has that pickup. He's a monster. If he's ever able to 1v1 anyone on the Rift, he can probably do it at this stage. Problem is, he's just not all that tanky. So see whether he goes towards like Dead Man's Plate or something next. Even if it's a Black Cleaver or a GA, at least gives him something at the moment, as opposed to just the raw defensive stats of armor and MR.
For now, all he has really is the attempt to jump in, assassinate someone and kick someone back in, die, and pray Tainted Minds follow up afterwards. Vanguard, though.
It's a stage of the map right now where all the summoner spells are available. And whenever you're looking at these compositions where everyone has summoner spells, especially when it's a team fight comp coming out of AV, you expect something to happen. You can see that they're trying to march up waves. They really want to contest these mid lane turrets. However, no one really willing to risk a dive just yet. Means that we're locked in kind of this stalemate. Praedyth behind the turret again.
Locks down Jake. He's going to take so much damage. Kicked and dead immediately as Chelby now the next target. Lots of damage coming out from Tainted Minds. They brute forced their way through 2 turrets, but big Chaos Storm coming out from Triple. He's chasing out Wizard. Series is taking up all 4 members in the mid lane, trying to help Blinky out. He's going to get locked down by Praedyth. Takes so much damage. The Time Winder comes back, doesn't find the assassination. Series still trying to continue this fight, chasing on forward. Big snipe will come out from Blinky, and Avant turn it around.
Yeah, so in the end, it is a 1-for-1 trade. TM get the turret initially. However, now AV looking to push in on mid lane.
Teleport. Praedyth's looking to come in for a flank. There are so many low health bars on the side of Avant. Parallel conversion goes down. He jumps in, gets the shutdown onto Blinky. Series is the next target for the double kill, and Chelby's trying to run for his life down the mid lane.
Yeah, and if they had Kog'Maw available, you would be calling Baron right now. However, without the AD carry, what is the play? Can see if they can continue to pressure, and that was the team fight that TM really needed. You can see that they went with all damage threats, were able to get onto the back line, and eventually even series fell. It's going to be the first real meaningful gold lead that they've been able to pick up.
Well, first play for Tainted Minds is Raptor Camp. As soon as they get that, they go towards the mid lane inner turret. That gets taken down. 4,000 gold up ahead of Avant Garde.
Yeah, and right now the Echo is huge. Was able to pick up a double kill in that team fight. He's now 4-1-1. And unfortunately, this is what it feels like playing Varus into something that can lock you down. If you do not have your flash available, you are at the mercy of kind of your Nami or your Maokai to be able to peel him off. Otherwise, you die.
And Praetor goes back to base immediately after picking up those 2 kills, gets his Lich Bane. If only is able to duel anyone on the map, it feels like Praetor can do almost the exact same thing, maybe barring the Maokai at this stage.
Yeah, probably needs a little bit of penetration before he can get that done. Going towards the Zhonya's. I really like Zhonya's on Echo. Just allows you to do cool things, both with your parallel convergence as well as that ultimate. So we'll see whether Praetor continues to have a great game. It's funny because the Kog'Maw's kind of been the bait this time around.
Yep, you throw out the juicy Kog'Maw and forget about the Rise, Lee Sin, and Echo that are jumping into the back lines.
He is the goat on the road. So you just hold out there, the dragon swoops in and kills it, then you can take the dragon down, you know?
I mean, even Brawler knows this. He's buffing up everyone else, allowing Kog'Maw to die and saying, well, you got your passive, just run at someone, deal
Exactly
some
right.
damage.
True damage is OP.
Tainted Minds now looking to try and control the Dragon Pit as they will fight for an Infernal Dragon, but instead they're looking for the wraparound behind Series. He's going to get slowed down, and Tainted Minds just get delivered on top of the tree. Poor Series is just going to get collapsed by so many members of Tainted Minds.
Yeah, exactly right. Every member of Tainted Minds there using the Rise ultimate beautifully to make the quick rotation.
Ooh.
And now they're actually pinging out the base. They want to continue to push down this lane.
Yeah, decisive call from Tainted Minds. They move towards the bottom lane, pushing for the inner turret. Avant Garde try to do the exact same thing. They will take down the mid lane outer. Chelby just clearing out the minion wave, denying that from TM. They move straight back towards the Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, so actually sticking on Dragon means that Chelby has a little bit of time with this mid lane turret before the team will actually collapse in.
They do leave only to take that one down by themselves. Mid lane turret will take some chip damage, but it is saved by Tainted Minds, who run up towards the Baron Pit. And Triple makes his way down into the bottom lane just to clear out the minion waves that were pushed in by TM. But now 3,500 gold up Tainted Minds and looking much cleaner in game 2.
Yeah, definitely agree. And generally you need a winning half of the map. This time Wizards been able to provide a pretty neutral mid lane. And the jungle at top is definitely winning right now for Praetor. Series slumping at the moment, Fish. Don't know what it is. Seems to be just falling behind a little bit and can't keep up with the carries. Praetor, 4-1-2, 200 CS. Certainly looking promising on the Echo.
It certainly is. I mean, you mentioned this time and time again. Praetor can flex the Echo in the top lane. Wizard's a great Echo player as well. Speaking of Praetor, he wants to try and fight Series here. Good dodging actually coming out from the tree. But although it's not really a tank on tank, it's an AP against a Maokai. Nothing's going to happen up here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, the good news story right now for Praetor is that if he ever gets access to the turret, he kills them really quickly.
Yep.
Maybe quicker than the Maokai can clear out the creep wave. So we'll see whether he ever is able to push in that deep. Of course, if it's going to be a side of the map that he does manage to do that on, probably be top lane as opposed to bottom lane, just because the fact that you'd have to be knocking on the door of the Maokai pretty much.
Yeah, Squidgy farming up in the top side of the map, picks up a nice big minion wave for himself. He has his Hurricane with the Guinsoo's Rage Blade. Mid lane, Wizards, Rod of Ages is fully stacked, and Seraph's Embrace is online, which is a big power spike for Rise. Looks like he's looking for his Zhonya's, his Void Staff next. As Praetor tries to go in for a flank. Paralysis doesn't lock anyone out. He goes deep into the back lines. Forces a teleport out of Series on top of that. He's going to complete the channel here just to group up with the team.
And just look at how much damage Praetor does. I mean, he was split between Jake and Blinky and still managed to chunk Blinky out. Blinky does have Flash available this fight, so if he's ever able to get a good ultimate, potentially can flash away, but that feels bad if you're looking at Blinky, unfortunately.
And that's teleport down for Series, which means Praetor says, well, I'm going into the bottom lane now. You guys have fun.
Exactly right. No longer can match the teleport. They need to instead force with the Maokai and try and make Praetor come back.
And the reason why there are no minions in this lane either is because Wizard just proxied the first one right behind Avant Garde, who are trying to cheat around this Baron Pit. But they will slowly head back to base as Praetor is split pushing at the moment.
And the other good thing about sending Maokai still to answer is that unless Praetor gets really far back into Fog of War, Maokai has so many ways to stop the teleport. Has the W when you're standing on top of them. It also has the Q, which is on a really low spammable cooldown at this stage of the game. So potentially he can at least try and occupy Praetor in the lane. This is a danger area, however. When you lose sight of the Echo and you don't know whether he's collapsing on you or whether he's coming back to the lane, you can see right now Praetor has the idea to get in there.
Tainted Minds were pinging out the Baron immediately. Praetor heads back out. Series follows through just in case it gets started. Very difficult for him to play around bottom lane without his teleport.
But this is a difficult part of the game when you're a new team. All of a sudden, Only's being caught out.
Gets the ward up over the wall. Takes a little bit of damage, but dodges the ultimate coming out from Varus, and he gets out scot-free here. Avant Garde were looking for the pick, they didn't get it. Looks like they want to try and turn things around, but Gravity Field is going to be able to stop that one. Series now taking a bit of damage. He wants to go in, but he's getting locked down and slowly poked out. Tainted Minds playing this fight very well, kiting back and just waiting for Avant Garde to push forward.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, AV still getting items towards their team fight comp. Of course, still no one really going to be able to go with the Rise as well as a Cogmore late game in terms of damage. But the lockdown is definitely there.
Teleport in the back lines. Echo's coming through. There's the Gravity Field as well as the bomb. Praetor just pops Sonya straight away, trying to duke them out. Parallel Conversion does come down. Pops the ultimate, trying to get through. Avant Garde are split up. Chelby and Sirius on the bottom side. The other three towards the Raptor here. And so many flashes being burnt just to get away from Tainted Minds.
And you can see that they really are committing to Praetor, but this time AV got the team fight they were looking for, able to force them back. They're all still so healthy. Without the teleport available, that actually might be Baron Fish.
Yep, they're pinging out for it. Tainted Minds do have invulnerable vision thanks to the Scuttle Crab that was taken down previously. AV just clear out the pit for now. They decide not to start on the Baron.
Yeah, that's a bold call to actually not go for it. They don't have the health bars they feel like on Blinky as well as Jake. Of course, Blinky very reliant on mana to get any form of damage out in these team fights.
He did pick up a very late tier. He went for it midway through his Edge of Night, so that's not stacking just yet. But Tainted Minds, they say, all right, let's try taking the Baron now.
Yeah, exactly right. They've got a lot of damage coming out of Squidgy. Series is going to have access to the back line.
They're going to try and go in.
It's going to be a fight.
Jake's taking a bit of damage from Wizard to kick things off. But Tainted Minds back off with the Baron and reset the health. Avant can breathe again as Tainted Minds decide they're going to wait to take the next objective. Still 4,000 gold up ahead of Avant Garde.
Yeah, but the stalemate continues.
Yep.
And you just wonder who deals with Series as the game gets later. He hasn't had a good early game, but he's still even on farm. He's still becoming that late game Maokai. 2 items you can see he's already super tanky. It only gets worse from here as he picks up things like a Frozen Heart. So you have to be thinking as TM, what is our next big play? The teleport did not work this time. They had vision of it. I think that they need to set it back a little bit deeper and allow Praetor to come in with those home guards and really fly into the backline. Or one more time, just look for Only's kick. Because he has been able to get onto the backline a couple of times. And if he's able to get either a triple or a blinky into the front line, that's when you feel like Tainted Minds will do serious damage.
It's 4-0-3 on Lee Sin at the moment. Chelby has, hasn't been bad this game, but hasn't been able to put on the performance Only has to get his team in the lead. Now he's going towards a tanky build. How's that Dead Man's Plate? Edge of Night is going to help him out with a little bit of a spell shield as well. Even the Ninja Tabbies, one of your favorite items, Spawn.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, if he goes towards something like a Banshee's Veil at this stage of the game, it's going to be more than tanky enough.
Double spell shield.
What does it mean?
Avant Garde now still grouping up around the mid lane. It's actually Wizard who's made his way towards the top side of the map. Going to continue split pushing for Tainted Minds.
And this could be the other answer towards it. We're just never going to fight you. Instead, what we're going to use is Wizard and Praetor to be able to control the 2 side waves. And we're going to collapse with the ultimate out of the Rise when we think the time is right. What is the answer to that? Because they definitely cannot match 1-3-1 right now.
Well, AV are stuck. They don't know where to go. Do we go towards Wizard or the 4-man squad of TM pushing towards our mid lane? Instead, they recall over the Baron pit.
Or do they just do Baron? Chelby's gone back. They can't do Baron, and all of a sudden, Wizard's caught.
Oh, he gets caught out. Looked like it was going to be a good collapse from Tainted Minds, but 1-on-4, not quite what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly right. They just didn't have the speed to get there. Broly gets a shield up in time, so it doesn't take too much damage. This game is on a knife's edge right now. TM have all the advantages, but have not been able to capitalize for the last 5 minutes.
Avant Garde have 30 seconds to do whatever they like at the moment. Waiting for Wizard to come back up. He has picked up his Void Staff though, which is crucial for him in the mid lane. Baron has been started by Avant Garde. It is a 4-on-5, but still they're getting the Baron debuff, taking a lot of damage. Blinky, he flashes out. Blinky tries to go toe-to-toe against Praetive. The exhaust is going to come through. AV do take down only. That's the jungler dead, and they turn the team fight on. Series will get taken down. Praetive gets a big ultimate down, straight into the zone. The Squidgy's cleaning house. The butterfly's going through the team. The double comes out. He wants the triple. Will he get it? No, he won't, but still, 4 kills, 5 kills for Avant Garde. Sorry, Tainted Minds, and they look for the Baron as well.
Yeah, Tainted Minds able to clean house there. That was a 4v5 in every sense of the word. Only flies into the backline, gets the summoner spells out of Blinky, and when Blinky wasn't safe, the rest of the team kind of panicked and just didn't have the right target prioritization. Squidgy's going to be able to pick up this Baron, and now a huge gold lead for TM.
I mean, only sacrificed his life there. Couldn't get the kick because Blinky decided to flash over the wall, and Squidgy just looks at it and says, you know, that's cute.
Yeah, let's take another look at this. So all of a sudden, everyone's focused on the top side of the fight, and Squidgy is just free hitting, able to kite himself back out. Once again, everyone goes onto Praetor. Very big tunnel vision right now out of AV, and Squidgy has been unharassed the entirety of that fight and has torn through everyone.
My goodness. Praetive even playing that fight perfectly with the Echo, using the ultimate to get back a lot of health as well as damaging 3 members of Avant Garde. And then popping the Zonias to allow Squidgy to go to town. Tainted Minds, they're 7,000 gold up, and they've got a Baron buff ready to go.
Yeah, exactly right. Now the wave clear really gets tested, as well as the fact that Triple actually down big time in levels at this stage of the game. Has had to share so much farm with Blinky as opposed to Wizard, who's just been able to split push a little bit more freely. Level 17 versus level 14 is a huge deal here.
Praetive now looking to try and take down the top lane in the turret. Series realizes he can't quite fight the Echo and just watches as his turret gets melted on the top side of the map. Void Staff already picked up by Praetive with that Zonias. Oof.
3 auto attacks nearly kills Shelby. He has to go back to base. And where do you go from here? I mean, this looks like TM finally got that game-winning play that we were talking about and have the superior set up in the split push.
See the bottom side of your screen there. Series just trying to do whatever he can to hold the minion wave off the turret, because as soon as those minions take aggro, that Lich Bane comes online for Praetor to try and chip out the top lane turret. TM just can't quite find a break to get into the base of Avant Garde, but Baron is ticking. They're trying to push for it.
I mean, straight line wave clear has always been a great answer against Baron buff. You've got it in spades with Varus as well as Victor on a squad. You can see Victor able to take it out. Graves is definitely the best clear, although top lane turret's gone.
Yeah, top lane inhibitor turret is going to get taken out. They're going for a fight on the top side of the map as well. Praetive goes in. Jake is going to be the target. He's going to get locked down for now, but does escape. Praetive is very low and shut down by Blinky. They do lose 2 inhibitor turrets for it, but some breathing room created for AV.
Exactly, and as long as they don't lose the inhibitors, that's a big deal. They're still down 9,000 gold. However, we're starting to get towards the latter stages of the game. And we'll see whether AV can hold on, because right now they're pushing it uphill. Huge item splice coming through for Wizard. He's got a Void Staff. He's going towards the Abyssal Scepter, as well as Void Staff picked up for Praetor. Only's going towards the Banshee's Veil as well. Not going to die at all. And Cogmore at 4 items is a scary, scary prospect.
Especially when there's an honored sensor for Brawler, as well as the Locket of Iron Solari picked up to give even more shield to the very squishy Tainted Minds roster. Although they don't have a set tank, they're very pseudo-tanky at the moment, deceptively almost.
Yeah, certainly agree here. Got the bonuses of Baron still running for the Elder Dragon. Amplification here would be fantastic. A more combat-oriented buff. See whether this is the time where Series can get that teleport. Although with Triple still not level 16, do you really want to fight without that level 3 ultimate coming out of the Victor? Such a difficult choice right now for AV.
Probably don't, but they might be forced to, as Praetor's still split pushing in the top side of the map. AV could try and pull the trigger early once they see the Echo.
I mean, they know he's up there. He's going to go for the inhibitors, it looks like, and instead they're going to trade it away. I don't think that's a good call.
Well, let's see what they try to do. Only could always go for a steal. AV need to do this one quick. Steal. Inhibitor will get taken down by Echo. He could make his way towards the bottom side of the map. Elder Dragon down to 1,500 health. That's going to fall. AV pick it up. Big objective for them. Now going back to base. They need to deal with this Echo and stop him from taking down more objectives. But Wizards here, they're looking for another turret. Tainted Minds just want to open up the base of Avant Garde.
Yeah, they're going to be able to open up the base, but where do you go now? All of a sudden, Praetor's caught.
Series goes in, but the ultimate coming out from Rise takes them back to safety.
That's really silly out of series. Hard CC the Rise, and then the ultimate doesn't go through. That leaves two members there as sitting ducks. Has flash available, had the W, picked the wrong target, and that has cost AV massively.
They do have the Elder Dragon, but the buff is on such a short duration and only is effective if you decide to fight someone, which Tainted Minds can say, you know what, we've got what we came for. We can sit back and relax for a while.
Yeah, it will mean, however, that they're giving up 3 lanes of farm. You never really want to do that as the game progresses. Series is monstrous. Level 18, full tank Maokai. Has a GA to his name. Going towards a little bit more magic resistance, of course, with the fact that Kog'Maw, Echo, and Rise all going to be predominantly magic. That makes a lot of sense.
He's got a Wits End as well. Squidgy on this Kog'Maw, going for the full on-hit attack speed build.
Yeah, it falls off as it gets to the late game, though. It sounds weird for you to say that about a Kog'Maw, but crit builds are definitely better. Yep. And he always has to put himself in harm's way. We'll be able to mow through the squishy members like so incredibly potently. But hitting Kog'Maw, Maokai at the moment as a Kog'Maw, not really going to do all that much.
Slowly it will ramp up, but for now, if Triple, Shelby, Blinky, or Jake get in between 2 or 3 auto attacks, they're
Praetor goes back forward. They know he's there.
He flashes over the wall. Series actually flashes for that one as well. So just flash for flash, but they're still chasing on towards the Acro. Paralock Vergis comes down. Jakey does get locked down. Praetor pops the ultimate. Still has Zhonya's available, but they just collapse on top of him. Triple going to take quite a bit of damage. They will take him down, but Tainted Minds run towards the inhibitors.
Yeah, exactly right. So they're looking for the inhibitor there. I still think that Series needs to try and keep them a little bit busy. Of course, ramped up off that inhib means the Kog'Maw was at full stacks there for the Guinsoo, so couldn't go nuts. They have been able to chip down 2 now for Tainted Minds. Baron's up in 30 seconds, 40 seconds on Praetor. Means that there's a window. If AV push out, they can actually start up this objective.
They've got an inhibitor left open in the bottom side of the map. No turret available. 2 inhibitors already taken down. Avant Garde holding on for their dear lives here. Tainted Minds, they want this win. Navy now grouping up. I know Series has his Banshee's Veil, missing 1 item, but that is a super tank, and they're moving towards the Baron. Praetor does have teleport, so if AV want to try and take this one down, it's got to be incredibly
in 10
quick.
seconds. Let's go. They've started up. They do have the damage. However, last time we saw a 4v5, it did not go their way. 3 seconds. Teleport's probably going to be here in time because Blinky's not hitting the Baron.
Oh, Jake gets kicked back into the pit. Going to take a bit of damage. Blinky's dead. Only takes him down. Now it's a real 4-on-5. Squidgy takes down Shelby as well. And Avant Garde just get torn apart piece by piece. They will be able to take down the Baron, but that's about all they get from that.
And that's the game. Praetor is on the Nexus turrets. He's got a Baron buff. He's got the Lich Bane.
What?
And they're going to be able to pick up game 2.
That was a 4-on-5. Praetor decided not even to go into that one. Blinky just dies at the start. Praetor's already on those Nexus turrets. Nexus is going to fall as well. And they somehow done it again, Spawn. They did it last week with a new roster, and again, Tainted Minds surprise and pick up a win here. It's now tied up 1-1.
It's got to feel good if you're the new TM roster, and they did it really nicely. They had an unorthodox team fighting comp, so many threats, but because they weren't able to get onto the back line of the Kog'Maw Avant Garde, they were just time and time again mowed down. I mean, Praetor, it's his signature pick at this point, the AP Echo. Being able to get a couple of victories with it, but AV, that's got to be shattering because they had done all the hard work to claw themselves back in the game. They got the picks they were looking for, and then made crucial judgment errors. Twice, Blinky flashed out of a pit as opposed towards the back side of the pit, so his team could actually help him in Baron.
I mean, on top of that, to add insult to injury, Tainted Minds had a decent start to game 1 as well, which they did end up losing. Now it's gone to the 3rd and final game. TM could possibly pick up a win with a brand new roster.
Oh, it certainly looks to be the case. I mean, AV were hot favorites coming into this. No one really knew what to expect out of Squidgy. Brawler had an off week last week. only being subbed in for the first time in the OPL. I mean, he was a great solo queue player, but how does he play with nerves? And this is a very nerve-wracking situation for everyone in TM, but they just keep coming up with the goods. I mean, they're playing fearless League of Legends.
Which is fantastic to see from Tainted Minds. Now the question is, are they going to be able to take the series from Avant Garde? We'll find out later, but for now, let's give it back to Hingers.
Well, there we have it. Tainted Minds able to type this series 1-all right now. And gentlemen, I'm joined here by Mickey Whale doing we called it back dance, and also Mendrix there. And let's start with this this comp from TM, because they did the Cogmore again, but this comp was much better at protecting the Cogmore.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the big things that you have there immediately is you have a Lee Sin. So Lee Sin may not be the best in terms of providing direct protection for him, but the big thing that he does do is give peel. He can jump in, initiate, draws a lot of attention, and you saw that work a lot better for Squidgy. The execution was just better from TM across the board, especially with the 1-3-1 formation.
And not only was TM's comp better, but also AV's comp was less competent at dealing with the actual Cogmore. I mean, Syndra is very scary for a Cogmore, whereas Victor, you can kind of get away with it, especially with Lulu. The burst isn't as quick.
Yeah, we see Lulu this time coming back, despite the fact that Pinch described her as bad, just bad. So popping off. And also a big talking point today is that Prater really just stepping up and leading his team as the most experienced member of this Tainted Mind squad.
Oh, he absolutely stepped up in that game. I mean, not just, at certain points or critical points, also just throughout that entire late game. He was doing work the entire time. He was split pushing across the board. He was drawing out the enemy team, allowing objectives to be gained pretty much everywhere else. And here's one of those great points about it here. So what he did here was, after the back of a fight, AV sort of extended a little bit too far. He backs, instantly teleports back in. And this is the first crucial point where Tainted Mind's getting a meaningful lead. And that just sort of sets him up for the rest of the game afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just that Prater was on the Echo, because that Echo was working in the comp, but specifically that he was popping off on it, right, Mickey?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he does a lot for his team, especially with the 1-3-1 comp. He recognized that AV had a team fight comp, and he just constantly splitted, drew members away, and then TM took objectives all game.
Yeah.
It was just better decision-making across the board, or better macro decision-making that these guys decided to make. I mean, trading Elder for all those base objectives was always the right move in their situation, because basically after that point, they just pulled them thin.
I'm curious about that. When you say it's better macro decision-making, is it much better macro decision-making from Tainted Minds, or is it much worse macro decision-making from AV? Because we saw two pretty dicey Baron calls from AV during that game, Hendrix.
Yeah, from one of my situation there, I say it's better calls from Tainted Mind specifically, because really with what they did there, it seemed right from AV to make the decisions. I mean, the first one was a 4-on-5. So it's like, all right, cool, we should be fine to make this happen. Everything was a correct decision from them. They should be all right in that situation. But then coming into it, it just didn't really work out, purely because Squidgy was online.
Yeah, I mean, AV were forcing team fights, which is what their comp is supposed to do. The problem arose when, they were just so far behind in lane phase, really. That's what they need to do. They need to come ahead in lane phase, and they need to force these team fights. But when you're forcing team fights when you're behind, I mean, they don't go so well, especially against Cogmore comps, I guess.
Let's focus in on some players. 80 carry for Tainted Mind Squidgy. Some doubts over him coming into this because, he hasn't played OPL this year. This is LAN, new roster, new team. I mean, did he play towards your expectations in this game as compared to the last, Mendrix?
So last game, he exceeded expectations. This game, normal expectations. It's a really rough lane. It is a really rough lane for him. Okay, so I'm talking about his laning phase specifically here. When he went into that, he was roughly 1-4-2 towards that middle lane. But here, he comes online. This is the Cogmore we expected to see. I wanted to see this in his first game. And as you can see, he's doing everything properly. His team create the diversion for him to just absolutely pop off. And he's doing so much damage. This is the team killer we know Cogmore can be once he gets to the late game, once he gets his items. And it is just so rough for any team to deal with him at this point.
But one thing we also saw from last game compared with this is we said last game, look, Blinky needs to step up in that laning phase. And like you said, Cogmore had a much rougher laning phase going into Varus this game. Was Blinky playing better, or was it just a better matchup?
I think he just adjusted to the Cogmore the first game and got used to it, and then destroyed it. The problem was TM made a good move. They switched their bot lane to top. They put Lee Sin behind them, and they just let Cogmore farm. AV didn't push fast enough, I guess, or didn't capitalize fast enough on the advantage that their bot lane kind of got for them.
And looking at Blinky's playing and the decisions that they made initially going into that lane matchup, it was a much better matchup going into Kog'Maw for Blinky. When you have a Virus, he's able to sit back, throw the poke out there. You've got a much better support to deal with him as well, rather than having a Malzahar who's countered into the Lulu.
All right, well, there you have it. Tainted Minds tying up the series 1-all versus Avant Garde. We'll be back with Game 3 right after this.
First, Blinky is his next target. Will flash away, but you should just save that summoner spell, buddy, because you're going nowhere. Series goes back in, tries to fight his way out. Kratom does have ultimate available. Going to take the turret shot. Series gets another solo kill in the top lane. Takes out Kratom 3-on-1. Malon just goes down. He jumps in, gets the shutdown onto Blinky. Series is the next target for the double kill, and Shelby's trying to run for his life. There's the gravity field as well as the bubble. Kratom just pops Sonya straight away, trying to duke them out. Parallel Conversion does come down, pops the ultimate, trying to get through. Avant Garde are split up. Shelby and Series on the bottom side. The other three towards the Raptor here. And so many fighters being burned just to get away from Tainted Mind. There's a 4-on-5. But still, they're getting the Baron Deval taking on damage. Blinky, he flashes out. Blinky tries to go toe-to-toe against Kratom. The exhaust is going to come through. AV do take down only. That's the jungler dead. And they turn the team fight on. Series will get taken down. Kratom gets a big ultimate down. Straight into the Sonya. The Squidgy's cleaning house. The butterfly's going through the team. The double comes out. He wants the triple. Will he get it? No, he won't. But still, 4 kills, 5 kills for Avant Garde. Sorry, Tainted Minds. And they look for the Baron as well. Blinky's dead. Only takes him down. Now it's a real 4-on-5. Squidgy takes down Shelby as well. And Avant Garde just gets torn apart piece by piece. They will be able to take down the Baron, but that's about all they get from that.
Solo queue es como la vida real. No necesita ser perfecto para funcionar.